South East Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.
South East Radio.
Welcome back to South East Radio's Business Matters with me, Karl Fitzpatrick. Well, my next guest this morning is Margaret Hearty, Director of Business Services with InterTradeIreland. Margaret, what is InterTradeIreland and what are your main objectives?
Good morning, Karl. Thanks for the opportunity to speak to you. Okay, so InterTradeIreland, we're the cross-border trade body. I suppose we work with and support SMEs right across the island, including many businesses in the southeast region, to take advantage of cross-border trade and business opportunities, and that includes helping businesses to sell their goods and services across the border, but to both the public and private market, helping businesses to collaborate with other businesses and academic partners on a cross-border basis where there is a business opportunity. So I suppose we, in essence, put people in contact with each other who can help each other.
I think one of the misconceptions regarding InterTradeIreland is lots of businesses down south feel that you're a Northern Ireland-based organisation that's primarily there to serve the needs of Northern Ireland-based businesses. But that's not the case, is it?
Absolutely not. I'm really glad you asked that question, Karl. We're an all-island body, and I always make the point, a company in Waterford or Kilkenny or indeed Mayo is every bit as much our customer as a business in Dundalk or in Belfast. So we are an all-island trade body.
And where do you think the opportunities exist for businesses in the south that may have an interest in expanding into the north?
Business is, up until, of course, the current crisis, business has been buoyant on both sides of the border. We would have a lot of there's really opportunities in every single sector. We don't focus on particular sectors, but business are selling into the construction market, into large corporates in Northern Ireland, into engineering would be a big sector in Northern Ireland, agriculture, agri-tech, the service sector, ICT, medical devices. So the market is very open. There are companies in the south of Ireland have identified specific opportunities. Sometimes that's selling into the public sector market, whether it's into the health boards, health authorities in Northern Ireland, and into the education, or indeed into councils and many large public sector opportunities. So the opportunities are vast and wide, and there's lots of support available to identify those opportunities for your particular business.
And if a company contacted InterTradeIreland with a view to identifying opportunities up north, what journey do you bring them through?
So we have a number. We have supports available for micro companies, for companies with less than 10 employees, and that's our Elevate program. So that's 100% grant-assisted support to help the company identify what the opportunities are for their product or service in Northern Ireland, and put a plan in place, and indeed help them to sell their product and service into Northern Ireland, giving them advice on pricing, on packaging, practical support in terms of local I suppose consumer trends and pitching their product and service right. For many companies would approach us who have identified the opportunity, and we have our Acumen program, and there we offer financial assistance towards supporting the company to put a sales rep on the on the ground to sell their product and services on the ground, and that programme is really successful and really, really effective for businesses. It means of somebody on the ground selling their goods and services. We've supported many companies in the southeast, but one that comes to mind is Very in Kilkenny. So this company digitises training records and quality assurance for companies. So they turn paper records into intelligent data, which is very important in the current climate. And we helped that company expand into Northern Ireland, where they won new contracts and indeed identified new partners. And that's a key point as well. Sometimes it's about selling directly to customers, but sometimes a business can find a new partner that opens up many other opportunities.
We know that there's lots of construction companies from the north of Ireland come down south, but what other types of companies up north have seen the Republic as a great place to do business?
The Republic of Ireland, the economy has been very strong, and again, lots of engineering companies in Northern Ireland who would be selling services into the construction-related sectors in the Republic of Ireland. Food, we have a lot of food producers in Northern Ireland. Food would be one of the largest sectors in terms of cross-border trade. So a lot of, and I think that's one of the things that Brexit highlighted, the sort of interlinked supply chains that we have right across the island. So engineering service, construction services, food, ICT, IT would be a strong sector again in Northern Ireland, and again many companies supplying services in their medical devices and a whole, really practically any sector that you'd mention. We'd have examples of companies who are supplying into that.
Now, Margaret, the all-island public procurement market is worth approximately 12 billion euros per year and represents an untapped market for many SMEs to increase their sales, and is a huge opportunity to win steady business, especially as we come out of a pandemic. What supports is InterTrade Ireland in a position to provide businesses that are interested in expanding their business into the public sector?
Yeah, the public sector market is a lucrative market, and but it can be a difficult market for SMEs to access, and the difficulty is around understanding, I suppose, the rules of the game. And we have our Go to Tender programme teaches companies exactly how to do that, what the rules are, how to put a tender together. And we would envisage there'll be a lot of, for example, there are a lot of public tenders available now, in response to the COVID crisis. So many businesses are seeing opportunities for around public, around PPE, personal protective equipment. So we are making our supports available to businesses now, that businesses can avail of mentoring supports who maybe hadn't tendered into the public sector before and need to respond in a very timely manner at the moment. And also our workshop support is available online. You could see, we would predict there would be probably more stimulus packages from government coming forward, particularly in the recovery period. So businesses, the public procurement market will and should become increasingly important, and those services, the supports are available now, and I would encourage any business go on to our website and look at our procurement supports and avail of them at the moment.
And Margaret, your 2020 Seedcorn Investor Readiness Competition is currently open for applications. Tell us about that particular initiative.
So the Seedcorn Competition is our all-island business competition, and this is focused on early stage companies, and I suppose the whole ethos behind it is to help companies become companies right across the island and very much outside of the sort of major cities, to become investor ready and take part in a competition that brings them through that process of having to put a business plan together and going through the process of getting that business plan investor ready and pitching to a panel of investors. So when they come out the other end, they're investor ready and they increase their chances significantly of being able to attract investment into their business. And also importantly, there's a cash prize of 280, a package of prizes of 280,000 euros. So the competition, the 2020 competition, is open at the moment. We're actively seeking applications from early stage businesses. There is an initial short application process at this point that closes on the 29th of May, and I would encourage any early stage company to go on to our website. There are workshops being delivered online at the moment, helping companies to prepare for how to put an application form in, what investors are looking for. Again, if you're an early stage company, if you're looking to raise investment, the Seedcorn Competition is open for business, and all of the details are available on our website.
And Margaret, for any business across the island who has been affected by COVID-19, what supports are you in a position to provide them with specifically to assist them through these challenging times?
So we have been in contact with our companies that we're working with since the crisis began, and for companies that are participating on our programs at the moment, we've offered many flexible arrangements, including allowing companies to suspend their project and get back involved when things return to normal. We're processing claims very flexibly, almost immediately, to help businesses to deal with cash flow issues. But we also have, in speaking to businesses, we've introduced a number of supports that were initially available to live companies on our programs only, but we're about to offer these more widely. And one of those is our eMerge is an e-commerce support, and this is a 2,800 euros, 100% granted worth of expert advice to support businesses to transfer their sales online. And this is in response to feedback that we received from companies who are on our programs. In addition to that, we introduced our COVID-19 emergency business support of 2,250 euros, and that's 100% granted again, to help businesses risk assess their business and get immediate advice on how to respond to the crisis. And I suppose to support that, we've a number of webinars coming up that details in one session all of the government supports that are available for businesses, and I suppose that most importantly the nuances around accessing them. The second of the series will focus on managing cash flow, and the third around recovery support. So there'll be live Q&As with legal experts, HR experts, agency and banking representatives.
Well, if you've just tuned in, that was Margaret Hearty from InterTradeIreland, and perhaps cross-border trade in a post-pandemic environment will create lucrative opportunities for Wexford businesses.
Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.